Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Today we are talking about Turbo. Sorry that it is delayed. Yesterday I felt like my head was going to explode, so called it an early day and went to bed. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? We have a few things to talk about, some exciting things. Listen, right? First up, I do want to say that when we look at Turbo and we go to the amount of holders there are, we can see we skyrocketed pretty much 200 holders in just a little bit over 24 hours because this is recorded on a Saturday and this will get released probably in an hour or two. And these are Saturday's current numbers, right? But we can see roughly from Thursday to right now, we've gone up 200 holders. So very, very nice. And the thing is, that was just Turbo recovering a little bit, right? When we go to the charts in just a second, ladies and gentlemen, right, let's go to these charts. We'll see, Turbo rose a good amount, like 10, 15%. Then, we had a little bit decrease, everyone was getting scared of the whole market thing, the hackers, there was a sell off with Bitcoin and other coins like Ethereum and etc. So Turbo obviously took a hit, but it still remained great. And look at that, we're already recovering. And you can just see that we are still relatively at the bottoms, right? If we go to even something like the yearly, we are at the last relevant bottoms, right? Because the last relevant bottoms are, the ones we pretty much had all the way, back even in September and August. And we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that we are growing at a fast rate when we're near the bottoms. So imagine when the bandwagon comes in. Not only that, but we can see volume has been great. Look at the last, 24-hour volume. We've been pretty much most of the time going anywhere from roughly 80 to 90 million, even upwards of almost 100 million at times. Like at the current moment, we are at 73 million in volume. So, there's no issues there. There's constant accumulation. There's constant buying and selling. And for me, this is a very good sign because we are at the bottoms and we have so much volume, we have so much volatility that when, the bandwagon starts coming in, when the hype starts coming in, when things start to rise, the volume is going to be absolutely insane. Not only that, but the amount of growth will be insane too, right? Things are going to be different. Over the next few months, I believe we will be experiencing altcoins, the altcoin season. And over the next few months, there's going to be more and more bandwagon, more and more hype. And people are going to be looking to come to established coins, right? Whether it's a meme coin or whether it's something else. But in this context, we're talking about meme coins. People are going to be looking to come to establish meme coins that have a higher potential than just, a 5 or even 10x. And Turbo falls exactly in that perfect category. Okay. The reality is, something like Pepe is great, something like Doge is great, something like Sheep is great. We have to realize that when we look at those coins, the game potential is much, much smaller than something like Turbo, right? Turbo has a way higher game potential, even upwards of 100x. I know it sounds crazy. But that is the reality. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is one thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing we will start talking about in a moment is pretty much the structure, okay? Because the structure is something that's very, very important, something that is very important when it comes to technical analysis. Some of you might not understand, and that's fine. That's why I'm here. But I'm going to break it down in the most simple way, okay? So we can see currently, ladies and gentlemen, that we had this structure that we were talking about for some time, right? These specific candles that we were looking for great buying and opportunities, great leverage opportunities, and etc. What happens? We come into it, we start accumulating, we start breaking up, right? We start breaking up, we retest off of these highs over here, and bad news comes out too. We sell, and now we're kind of in the middle. But there is more and more structure. And at this current moment, we are indicating that we should be going higher. The reason why I say this is because we have lows over here, we have a top over here, and when we have higher lows, right? We can see when we came off of here, we retested pretty much off of this area, this box over here, and now we are going up higher. So here's the deal, right? It is Saturday. volume should be generally slower. It's very, very rare for there to be a lot of movement on a Saturday. It could happen because there's crazy news coming out, hack like things were getting hacked and etc. So there could be crazy volatility today, which is pretty much an anomaly. But in general, what I expect overall is some type of pullback, but to overall to be going up higher. I don't really think we should be going back to 0.003 anymore. The structure doesn't suggest it. The market is relatively green. Bitcoin's back up to 96,000, almost 97,000. When we go to something like Ethereum, we got to remember we are on the Ethereum chain. So, yes, Bitcoin's always going to be pretty much relevant most of the time, other than altcoin season. And something that's also really relevant is Ethereum for us because we are under the Ethereum chain. Now, how is Ethereum doing? Well, yes, it did have a sell off yesterday because of the hackers and stuff, but we can see Ethereum is accumulating. Okay, Ethereum is still accumulating just like Turbo. And for me, very, very big belief that it is going to be exploding to the upside next week. I believe next week is going to be the week where we really start recovering and we break out of the accumulation, right? This would make sense as it's going to be the last week of February. It also means that the monthly candles get, you know, dictated, right, based off the last week's worth of price action. And, then we have March coming up. So for me, very, very important week coming up. The worst case scenario I see is at one point, maybe next week, early on, is we get a final little dip, right? A final little dip, which would cause Turbo to dip a little bit before we go up higher, right? Just because it might want to take out final liquidity, just because there might be, final institutional candles waiting to get tapped into. But that is like the worst case scenario, which is not even worst case because that's just how the markets go most of the time, right? So that is, something I could be looking out for. I would not worry if Ethereum went back down to 2,400, if Turbo maybe dipped down to, you know, a certain percent, a certain price, because generally speaking, I expect things to really, really turn around with Ethereum. I'm still super bullish on this whole altcoin season, generally speaking. I'm still super bullish on this whole market, generally speaking. So, you know, that is what we're looking out for. Next week is going to be a huge indicator. At this current moment, when we go to something like Ethereum, and I will talk about Turbo once again, um, the monthly candle, right? It looks like a huge rejection at the moment, right? If we start recovering even more, that means this candle will be what I call a rocket candle, where we had a big monthly rejection. And then the next month should be a very, very nice green month, right? Something like here, right? We had a decent rocket candle. Next month, we recovered a lot, right? We still went down at one point, we recovered. And then the month after that, we shot up, right? Um, so either next month or in 2 months, we'll have very, very green price action. But overall, I expect things to turn around. I expect February to be pretty much the last bad month, generally speaking. When we go back to Turbo, we're going to look how the weekly and monthly candles are closing, right? We can see weekly is technically bullish right now. It did pretty much dive into the exact spot we were talking about. And for me, this just seems like a momentum shift. When we go to the monthly, right? It's a decent rejection. It's not going, I'm not going to lie and say it's the biggest one, but we can see last time we rejected off of this price zone, right? We were selling, we rejected, we recovered a lot the next month. The next month after that, we created new all-time highs. So I expect very, very green bullish price action over the next, month or two and overall the next few months. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.